everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my October Reset video and TBR. So if you've been following along on the journey this year, you guys know that I have been doing reset videos every month where I sort of go over some of my stats from the previous month. Then I talk about my plans for the upcoming month, which are just that, they're plans. They may or may not happen. I also include other bits and pieces like my book journal setup for the month, my filming schedule for October, as well as other bits and pieces. And this month you also get my holiday Halloween decorating for my apartment, which is pretty exciting. And I'm really looking forward to October. I've got some big plans coming up. There's quite a few things that I'm trying to read for various projects, some of which I'll talk about in this video, some of which I won't. There'll be a surprise. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait to share what's coming up in October with you all. So we're going to kick it off with my September reading stats. I am filming this on the 30th of September, so it won't include the last day stats for the month, but that's okay. This time we managed to get the majority of the month in before I had to film the reset video. So as of the 29th of September, I had read 44 books, 11,508 pages, and 4 of those books that I read were rereads. If we're reflecting on did I actually read my TBR for the month, so in September I played my TBR game a couple of times. I played it twice during the month, and each time I picked 5 or 6 books. So that was on top of everything else that I was planning on reading. I actually did a pretty decent job. So of the books that were mentioned in my TBR in the month, I read Bayou by Ilona. I read The Worthy Anthology, which was a queer anthology of short stories. I read The Head Wolf by Andie J. Christopher, Accidentally Engaged by Farah Heron, Dr. Matt's Guide to Life in Space, which was a non-fiction book about astrophysics by Dr. Matt Agnew, Her Greatest Mistake by Hannah Cowan. I finished the Force of Nature audiobook, which is the novel by Jane Harper. I read Wolf Willow Witch by Freydis, which was their most recent release. I did read Dreadful Desires by Lark. I read The Trouble with the Two-Headed Hydra by Karen Foxlee, which is a review copy that I received last year and it got lost in my pile, so I finally read it and reviewed it, which was great. I read Deal with the Demon by Amy Wright, Ming and Flo Fight the Future by Jackie French, which is a middle grade title, Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher, which is the second book in the Dreamland Billionaires series. I'm trying to finish that series before the end of the year. I've got one more book to go. And I did read Body Check by Tegan Hunter as that was released. And then there were some DNFs from my TBR. So I DNF'd Enforcer by Samantha Whiskey, which was a hockey romance. Heart of Stone by Demelza Carlton, which was a paranormal gargoyle romance. Lord of the Abyss by Nalini Singh, which I'm really sad that I DNF'd it, but I started reading it and I was not feeling it. So it's still on my Kindle. I haven't deleted it, but I have put it down indefinitely at this point. And also The Outback Governess, and I've forgotten who this one is by. But yeah, there were a few things in that rubbed me the wrong way. So I think that's a fairly decent chunk of the TBR that I actually set for myself that I got through, so I'm pretty proud of that. And then my top 3 books of the month included Bayou, which I really enjoyed. It is more body horror than Ilona other works, so do be aware of that going into it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I also loved Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed, no surprises there. And I also loved Cinnamon Roll by Anna Szabo. So I've talked about all of those books in various videos. Which brings me to my TBR, and I have various components that make up my TBR, including the first category, which is priority reads. So these are my review copies or buddy reads or things like that I have to read. The next book in the On the Edge series is Fate's Edge by Ilona. I will be reading this with Heather, Megan and Izzy. We have set the live show date for Fate's Edge on October the 20th EST, which will be October 21st Australian Eastern Standard Time for those who are playing along from the Southern Hemisphere. Every month my members get to vote in a poll for a members only choice book for a vlog, and this month's poll all featured books by BIPOC authors that I have physical copies of, and the one that won was Sin and Ink by Naima Simone, which I did pick up at Rare when I met her. I also have a few things on NetGalley that I am hoping to read that come out this month. So in true me style, I've already gotten one thing wrong with one of the titles of these books, and I do it twice in this video. One of the books that I need to read is 10 Things That Never Happened by Alexis Hall, which I have as a review copy on NetGalley, and I'm assuming Bree and I will probably read it, so stay tuned. I also have Witches Get Stuff Done by Molly Harper, which is featuring as part of a vlog that's coming out later this month, so this is definitely getting read. I will also have a review copy of The Problem with Dating by Brittany Cherry, which I'm excited to read. I've also been selected to get a review copy of Shadows of You by Catherine Cowles, which is the next book in her Small Town Romance series, so I'll be reading that. From Hachette, I received a copy of Hopeless by Elsie Silver, which is the 5th book in the Chestnut Springs in that series. I've forgotten the name of the series. But in order to read this one, I have to read Powerless and Reckless. I have Reckless, Powerless is on the way to me, so they will all be going on to the TBR as well, which will be good actually, because that'll mean that I'll catch up on a series and clear those books for the month. So I'm glad about that. And then 2 other books that I received this time from Fremantle Press, which I'm really excited about, are a kids picture book, Crow Baby by Helen Milroy. I've been enjoying Helen Milroy's books this year, so I'm excited to have that. That's a First Nations book, as well as An Unexpected Party, queer speculative YA fiction edited by Seth Malakari. And this is an anthology. I'm really excited to dive into this one. I was not expecting this one at all, but I love my Australian young adult anthologies. I think there's always amazing things in them. So that's really exciting. I also know I have a few things coming in the mail, which will be other children's and middle grade titles. I'm just not sure what is coming and when it's going to get here, but they will also end up on the TBR. In terms of other books I would like to read, just because it's October, I went through sort of my physical TBR, because at the moment I have a lot of things on my physical TBR that I sort of need to make my way through. So I went through and selected things that I thought had October vibes, and I may or may not get to them. So these aren't my priority reads, but these are sort of the other things that I would like to try and get to if I get a chance. So there is Masters of Death by Libby Blake, which I picked up as part of my birthday book haul when I went for my little walk around the city. Really intrigued to try this one because we have a vampire estate agent and a medium and other various supernatural creatures. And I think this will be a really good October read. I would also like to read The Crane Husband by Kelly Barnhill. It's very short. It will not take me very long to read at all. I also have Fables and Other Lies by Claire Contreras, which I don't know. I mean, this cover is giving me October vibes. I don't know all that much about it. It's fairly short as well. I figure I can put it on the TBR because it'll be a quick and easy read. In between that, I also have a stack of books that I'm planning on reading that I picked up through Stuff Your Kindle Day, which will be featured in a sort of a review reflection vlog later in the month. And I'm not planning on participating fully in Black Aweenathon, just because next month I have a really big readathon that I'm participating in and helping to host, and there'll be an announcement for that later this week. But I still wanted to do something to do with Black Aweenathon because it's hosted by Bree from Locked Beautician. She has done an amazing job with her readathon. I was watching and just going, if I wasn't going back to work this month and if I wasn't really worried about how my month is going to go with some of the projects that I've set myself, I would 100% participate in this fully. But as I can't do that, I am going to still try and participate in elements of it. So what I've decided to do is, where I can, is sort of dip in and out of the readathon. My priority for it is to try and read the group book for Noir Apothecary, which is The Plot is Murder by V.M. Burns. I actually have a physical copy of it arriving hopefully next week, and I'm really excited to read it. And then if I can dip into some other cozy romances by Black authors throughout the month, I will. So that is my plan. And then next year I will not overcommit myself, but I'll leave a link to Bree's video down below. So if you have not heard about it, which if you haven't, you definitely need to go watch the video because it's amazing. I'd also like to try and read Summoning Up Love by Cynthia Williams, which is a paranormalish harlequin, which I'm intrigued. And then what I have been doing every month is using a spinner wheel to pick some authors from my Rare book haul. So when I went to Rare earlier in the year, because I came back with way too many books and I need to read them. This month I'm not going with the spinner wheel because I actually have 2 projects featuring 2 of the authors that I purchased. So I'm going to be reading Token Huntress by Kai Carrington Russell. I'm really excited about this one. This one is a vampire-ish book. And then I also have Louisa Masters, I think this is Ghostly Guardians series. Now, Louisa Masters is a very fast, easy read for me. She writes queer paranormal romance, so I'm hoping I can try and knock this series out sometime during the month. Which leaves me with the final book that I'm going to put on my TBR, which is my annotation project book. So every month I am selecting a book that I absolutely love to read and annotate, and I have these little scratch reveal cards or scratchy cards that will help me pick. So which one are we going to go for? I've got no idea which ones are which because they're all hidden, so let's go here in the middle. Who doesn't love scratchy things? Okay, I'm going to be rereading In a Jam, which of course I am. And it's funny because this morning Heather just sent me a link saying she's found Kate Canterbury In a Jam merch, and I'm like, sign me up. So we'll also be adding In a Jam to this list because of course we are. The The last portion of my reset video is to sort of talk about the upcoming books that are coming out in October that I'm excited about, that I'm keeping my eye on. They're not necessarily going on to my October TBR, but they are things that I'm interested in, so they may or may not feature this month or maybe even next month. So on the 5th, Clueless Puckboy by Eden Finley and Saxon James is coming out. This is book 5 in the Puckboys series. I have actually read and reviewed this already because I received an arc of it and I had a great time. It is a hockey player and one of the trainers, so it is a bit of a workplace / forbidden romance, and it was just very fun and entertaining. Also on the 5th is I Wish I Knew Then by Jessica Peterson, which is a small town billionaire romance. It is a second chance romance as well, and I was really intrigued by this one. I had not read Jessica Peterson before, so this was a really interesting book to dive into. I think the combination of tropes was really fascinating in this one. On the 10th, we have Better Hate Than Never by Chloe Leese. I will probably be reading this one sometime during the month because it's Chloe Leese. On the 12th, as I said, The Problem with Dating by Brittany Cherry is coming out. I will have a review copy of that. The Rogue Protocol graphic audiobook is coming out by Martha Wells on the 13th as well, and it will take a little while for that to come over onto Audible, but I will eventually be listening to that. We also get a second Martha Wells audiobook, Exit Strategy, is also coming out on graphic audio on the 26th, and also on the 27th, Watch Your Mouth by Candy Steiner will be coming out. I've been approved for an arc of that one as well. That is my overly ambitious October TBR. I'll also have all of the B-roll footage of me setting up my filming schedule for the month, scanning in my Libib library, and also updating my digital book journal. So stick around for that if you're interested in that content. The way I've set up my October digital book journal, I'm really excited about it. I'm trying a slightly different layout for the month, which is actually a throwback to one of my original layouts that I used to use, sort of. So I'm very intrigued to see how it goes. In the comments, I would love to know what you are reading in the month. Have you read any of the books that I've read before? Is there anything you want me to prioritize and get to sooner rather than later? Feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I hope that wherever you're in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, everyone.